Welcome aboard the Boat Buyer's Secret Weapon podcast, where we're dedicated to helping first-time and experienced boaters find the right boat at the best price and ensure all boaters have years and years of happy boating fun because life truly is better on a boat. Today's podcast is sponsored by the First Time Boat Buyers Academy, so you can find the perfect boat at the lowest possible price and buy with 100% confidence. For a short video, visit boatbuyerssecretweapon.com/academy. I reference some graphs and charts in this podcast. You can visit the Boat Buyer's Secret Weapon YouTube channel to view all of those resources. Now, let's hop aboard and have some fun. Welcome to the Boat Buyer's Secret Weapon. I'm your host, Captain Matt, and today we're talking about the truth about MSRP and boat dealer margins. This is a question that actually came up on our kind of, I'll call it a members area, just where we have all of our videos, the free Boat Buyers Toolkit, the calculator, as well as some other videos that are not on YouTube that I put up. And one of the questions that they asked is, what's the deal with MSRP and pricing, and what's a regular discount that I could expect? So we're going to talk about pricing strategy by dealers and OEMs. OEMs is the same thing as manufacturer, dealer and manufacturer incentives, when to get the best deal, and impacts on boat pricing. What has an impact on what's going on with boat pricing? So as always, you can grab your Boat Buyer's Secret Weapon Toolkit at boatbuyerssecretweapon.com/toolkit. You can pick that up for free. We have just beeped it up for 2021, and we have put that out. It's now available as the 2021s are starting to hit dealers right now. So we've updated that. It's a 20-page toolkit that's got checklists, questions to ask, some information on financing, trades, boat insurance, and much, much more, as well as a calculator on the real cost of boat ownership that gives you a complete picture. So you can pick that up while it is available. So let's start with the pricing strategies that are used by dealers and OEMs. So the first thing I'll talk when it comes to pricing is the manufacturers are OEM, original equipment manufacturer. So that would be Sea Ray, Bennington, Cobalt, Sea Pro, Sea Hunt. Any of those are OEMs or manufacturers. The OEMs get to dictate to the dealers how to handle pricing. Not necessarily what to sell the boat for, but how to handle pricing. The OEMs are going to be the ones that typically provide the MSRP, the manufacturer's retail price, suggested retail price. So that's usually, not always, but set by the manufacturer. Sometimes a manufacturer won't give an MSRP and a dealer will just make one up, which makes this all the more confusing to put generalizations. But by the end of this video, you're going to know how pricing works. You're going to have a pretty good feel, and you're going to be in a good position to deal on a new boat. So the OEMs typically, as of right now, a majority of them are saying you cannot put price on the internet. We don't want price on the internet, and if you do put a price, it has to be MSRP. But some of them don't even allow that. No pricing at all online. That's set by the manufacturers because they don't want dealers to put lower prices and drive the price of the boat down. Dealers are also, or manufacturers are also, in my mind, their mindset is off, that they want to protect that price, so you have to go into the dealership to look at the boat and to get the price. Unfortunately, in today's world, I think it's a smarter idea for them to put the pricing out there, but nobody is coming to me for that answer. So here's the three pricing strategies that you're going to find. The first one is manufacturers that set a high MSRP, so typically something with a 30 or 35% margin to what the boat costs. And then they provide a big discount. And typically when you're seeing a pricing sticker at, let's say, a boat show, that discount is taking their margin to 25% to as low as 15, maybe even 13%, depending on the boat, that the margin that the dealer is making, okay? On the next level, there are some manufacturers, and it'll even change as you'll see by the examples I have coming up. they'll set a lower MSRP and have a smaller discount to retail. You'll typically see that in kind of the mid-tier boats, where if that MSRP gets out there, maybe they'll let the dealers put the MSRP online or show it. They want that to be a smaller amount so it doesn't scare people off. And then because that MSRP is only at a 25 or 30% margin, they will only have a smaller discount, because a dealer, whether you like it or not, a dealer has to make money to be there to support you. And if you've watched any of my videos before, and I encourage you to go watch all of them, there's hundreds and hundreds of thousands of views on all of our videos. Go check those out, because I believe that the relationship with the dealer, especially if you're newer to boating, because of a lot of reasons we won't get into now, that relationship with the dealer is incredibly valuable, and you want that dealer to be around for the long haul, because that's going to help keep the value of your boat higher, and there's several reasons for that. The third is the nationally advertised price, or it could be, they'll abbreviate that as NAP. So if you see NAP on a sticker or online, that's a nationally advertised price. It's also a market advertised price, or MAP pricing, and you'll see that. Basically, that is the manufacturer, the OEM, saying this is how much this boat is, and you'll see pricing everywhere. So you'll see that a lot with entry-level type models, where the manufacturer says, hey, your margin is going to be what we dictate, and it's typically going to be around 15% plus or minus or so. So that's the pricing. So let's take a look at some examples, and these are actually some boat show stickers, and you can see that high MSRP with a big discount to retail. So this one has a $25,000 boat show discount, which is about 25% discount, down to $79,999. Now, that is, the MSRP is 105. Nobody's selling that boat for MSRP. They're given a huge discount. So it looks like, the reason they do this is it looks like they're giving you a huge discount, and you feel really good about that purchase, okay? So that's the psychology they're trying to use there. That's a Tidewater Blackfin again, and these are more higher level boats. This Blackfin has a price of $238,738. You can see it up at the top. Blackfin base boat price. So that doesn't account all the equipment, and then the MSRP with options, $261,048. You can see that just above the palm trees, and then the price $209,990, and then they've reduced it even more to $195,990. So what is that? About a $70,000 discount on this $260,000 boat. So that is high retail, big discount. So my gut tells me that they're probably at a 35% margin or so, and then they're dropping it down, and that $195,990 is probably getting them 18%. These are boat show prices, and that's a pretty good target for a dealer to hit 15 to 20% on their pricing. Now, here's why they do it this way on the higher end boats, is if they bring in a trade, they need to have, or they want to have the money so that they can put a value on your trade, which makes you feel good about the boat, okay? So if you don't have a trade, there may be a little bit more negotiation room, because the number is what it is. That's just the price, and they can come down a little bit more. If you do have a trade, that trade may only be worth, let's say, $50,000 to them, and they're going to try to sell it for $60,000, just for easy math. They want to make a 20% margin on their trade, which is reasonable in my opinion. Okay, they've got to bring it in, they've got to recondition it, they've got to do the fluids, they got to make sure everything's right. Maybe they'll spend some money on it. They've got to market it. They've got to assume it's going to take them 6 months to sell the boat, or whatever their turn time is, and there's cost associated with that, interest cost, potential depreciation risk if something that they don't catch in the inspection. So they've got to have some room there. So they're going to give you $50,000 for it, but really the value to them is only $45,000. but they want to show you 50 so that you feel good about the trade, and you say, yeah, it's worth it for the convenience factor. I know I could go sell it for 60, hopefully, but that convenience factor, I'll pay that $10,000 for convenience, but reality, it's actually $15,000, and they do some kind of a shell game with the numbers. I'll do another video, and actually I've done another video talking about trades and how that works, which you can go watch on the channel. But that's high MSRP with a big discount to retail. Next is the lower MSRP with a smaller discount to retail. Now, some manufacturers, you'll see Grady White and Outrage. These are premium level boats, you know, a 33 Outrage and a 251 Coastal Explorer. But if you look at the MSRP to the discount, you're only looking at a $30-some thousand discount on the Whaler and a $12,000 discount, $14,000 discount on the Grady. So there's no hard and fast rule on what they do, but typically competition is going to use a similar strategy. So it really just depends. But when you start seeing the boat show prices, is you can assume that they're putting their best foot forward. Okay, now maybe they say, hey, on these we want even more room, and there's more room for trades, which is a possibility, but this is probably somewhat close to what they're actually going to sell the boat for. Okay, so that's the second way they do it. Again, they don't want that retail price to get so high that if that price is out there, that it's going to say, oh crap, I can't afford $400,000 for this boat, even though you could buy it for $329. But that's the second way they do it. Here's another example of the same manufacturer. If you look at the Regulator 23 and their new 26XO, on this manufacturer or this dealer, the MSRP is $177,245 on the 230, which is a really popular boat for Regulator, but it's been around for a while. And they're giving a $22,000 discount plus a $4,000 discount. So what is that? $26,500 in discounts. On the 260 or 26XO, they're at $166,000, and they're only given a $19,000 discount. So there's a what is that, $5,000-$6,000 gap, and the reason for that is that 26XO was on back order. They were limiting the number of boats that dealers can get, and as a matter of fact, for the 2020 season, with my inside information, they actually bumped up the price to the dealers on that 26XO because it was so popular and they were so back ordered that you'll probably see even less of a discount in the future from dealers because they just can't get them, and there's a supply and demand effect that happens. There's nobody that has a boat that people like as much, so they're super popular. They can only build so many, and that's another reason why you can have a lower MSRP with a smaller discount, like you see on these two. Okay, so it's not always the same, even from manufacturer to manufacturer. Now, this is the one that you're seeing more and more of. It's the nationally advertised price, NAP or MAP, market advertised price. But essentially, that's the manufacturer going out and saying, this is the boat, this is the price, and then typically the base boat will be that price, and then you'll start adding options on, which they may do it at the factory, or they may do it as you buy the boat like that, and then the dealer adds everything on for you, and they can charge whatever they want for their installation and for the have their markup on the equipment. You see this is the Robalo R160, so a 16-foot center console. Mako this is a bigger one, but Mako, Bass Pro Shops, Cabela, Robalo's doing it. Tracker Marine is doing it, which is Tracker, Bass Pro Shop, Cabela's, Mako are all part of the same organization. What is it called? White River. You'll see it. Yamaha Jet Boat uses this pricing. It's been incredibly effective for them, along with their unique jet drive system, where they're clearly the best in class there over the last several years. And this is hey, the manufacturer is setting the price, and the dealers are really, they're they're not encouraged to drop the price, and partly because the manufacturers tell them don't advertise a lower price than this. This is the price of the boat, but the margin is also very thin for the dealers, based on where the manufacturer sets it. Okay, so when you have the price, there's the price that you see on the sticker. So the 23,495 is the nationally advertised price. That likely does not include shipping charges, dealer prep, dock prep, registration, state and local sales tax, title, license, and registration. So there may be another $1,000, $1,800, or more. And then when you add sales tax on it, that is not the out the door price. There's other things that get added on it. And the one that catches most people is the shipping and the dealer prep. So when these nationally advertised boats show up, the dealer may have to do some prep on it. They've got to put the batteries in, they've got to install the bimini top, they've got to do the shakedown, they've got to put the oil in, they may even have to rig the motor, get that put in, and that's real cost to the dealer and the manufacturer setting the price. So they allow them to set within a limit, a shipping amount which is charged to the dealer, and that prep, that dealer prep fee as well. Okay. And then you have the dock prep, the registration, which are going to the dealer, the state and local taxes, which is going to the government, the titling, which is going to the government, license and registration is going to the government. So those are fees that are on top of it that typically are not negotiable. Maybe you can negotiate that dealer prep fee, but that's a tough one. So there's that nationally advertised price. Now, there's some other things that you may want to know that's going on, and that's the relationship between the manufacturer and the dealer. The manufacturer may sell the boat for this amount, and the dealer will buy it for that, and they build their margin off that. That's that 15 to 20% or so, kind of their target right now in that range. But there's some things going on in the back that allow the dealer to make a little bit more money. It's why sometimes a larger dealer can sell a boat for a little bit less, somebody that does a lot of volume with the manufacturer, and you'll see some difference in the pricing. Inventory financing support. So a manufacturer may say, hey, we'll set you up with the financing, to floor plan your inventory, and we'll subsidize that a little bit so that they can lower the cost of holding that inventory over a period of time. It may be a short-term situation. Inventory rebates. If there's a certain boat that has not sold for that dealer, let's say it's a leftover, it's a 2020, a 2020, and it's the 2021 season is there, and they're just not moving it. The manufacturer may say, hey, we'll give you a little bit extra money on this boat, and we'll take that off the next boat that you order to replace it. So that's a one-off. If you ever hear a dealer say, let me talk to the manufacturer rep and see if I can get any help on this, that's what they're doing. The carryover rebates. It's kind of like those inventory rebates that for the leftovers. Volume bonuses. If the dealer orders a certain number of boats, they can get a discount on those boats if they hit, let's say, 20. They order over 20 boats, they get a discount. If they pay cash, they get a discount. There's several ways that they can get discounts on their boats, and again, it allows one dealer to sell for a little bit less. Some manufacturers do that, some don't. It really just depends, and they do it different ways. CSI bonuses. They may give a small bonus or a rebate for hitting certain customer service standards, because the manufacturers know that the better their clients are taken care of, the more likely they're going to buy that boat again in the future. So your better, more premium brands that have a good reputation are the ones that do those types of things, if they do them at all. And then advertising allowances or co-op programs. That's where the manufacturer says, hey, if you're going to put an ad in Boating Magazine or your local boating magazine, or you're going to run some Facebook ads, as long as you meet our guidelines for marketing, we will pay a portion of it, usually around 50%. We'll pay 50% of it, and that's another relationship that happens. This is all stuff that's behind the scenes. You'll never know about it except for those inventory or carryover rebates. They may talk to you about that a little bit. The other stuff is totally hidden, and you have no way of accounting for that. It's just figured into the way they do business. There's also the engine manufacturers can have similar setups where if you're strictly a Mercury or Cruiser dealer, if you're strictly a Yamaha dealer for outboards, they may give you some bonuses just for some advertising allowances, some other money just for being exclusive. And if you bring a Yamaha, even a single Yamaha to compete, or a single Volvo to compete with the Mercruisers, you can lose that money, and that can be significant for some of the larger dealers. So, impacts on pricing and discount. One thing to understand when you are comparing boats to boat is there's a lot of things that can impact the price of the boat that you may not see this on. I hear this a lot on pontoons, where somebody will say, why is this pontoon $30,000 more than that pontoon? And it's because one has a tri-tune with a 150, but everything is the same on the boat, and the layout's the same size, but one has a 150 and one has a 300. Well, that's going to bump up the price significantly. Or one has a this engine and the other has the upgraded. That's going to impact the price significantly. The optional equipment, wakeboard towers are $5,000, $7,000, $10,000 upgrades on some of these boats. Canvas covers. So you really need to know what's the optional equipment and how is that boat laid out, so you can tell. Your buddy says, hey, I bought this boat for 60 grand, and you're looking at it and they're saying it's going to be 65. Well, what's the real comparison? Are you compare apples to apples, or is there something significant about that boat that's different? Trailers are going to be $5,000, $7,000, $10,000, $12,000 depending on the boat, and you need to know, is that price with or without a trailer, because that's going to have an impact. Something that's going to impact the discounts is the level of the dealer's inventory. So I'm recording this in 2020, where inventory is just, it's slim pickings out there. People are driving hundreds of miles to get a boat. They're ordering boats that aren't going to be available for 6 months. Dealers are out of new boats in a lot of areas and bunch of models. Some are just completely out of new boats totally. They're going to be less likely to discount in that environment than, like, let's say in 2010, 2009, 2010, when they had a bunch of inventory and they had a lot of leftover inventory. Leftover is, it's 2010 and you have 2008 and 2007 still on the lot that you need to sell. So that level of inventory is going to impact the dealer discount. And then if the manufacturer is going to give them any incentives to move that older inventory, that's going to have a big impact. So one dealer may be selling out of a certain model and they only have one left, and it's May, and they're going to say, well, we're not going to discount that one as much as if they had 4 of those same models, and it was August. So that time of year and the dealer's level of inventory matters, and most dealers have been in business long enough that they kind of know where they should be and when they need to start discounting. So if you're really looking at getting the best deal, you want to go later in the season or earlier in the season, where you can get a leftover model or in that competitive environment of the boat show. And you can watch our video how to win at the boat show to get some tips there, because that is a great time to buy. But that time of year is a big one, because as you get later in the season in the northern hemisphere, the boats start selling in February, March, April, depending on when the weather warms up. They're going strong May, June. 4th of July is kind of the peak. It starts tapering down just a little bit to Labor Day, and then after Labor Day, for most markets, there are certain fishing boats that sell real well in that. There are certain areas of the country that do real well in that late summer, early fall time frame. But then after October or so, most of the boating in the Northern Hemisphere outside of Florida and Texas is coming to a close. And the dealers say, well, I can hold this boat back until February, March, April, or I can give a bigger discount right now and let this go. And again, that time of year in the inventory, there's a connection between those. Because if it's just one boat, yeah, they want to get rid of it, but maybe their next one's not going to come in till a little bit later. But the later in the year and the more inventory they have, the more aggressive they're going to be on pricing and the better discount you're going to do. What I'll tell you though is, if it's March and you want to get a boat, do you want to give up that whole season just to get a little bit of a discount or maybe a big discount, miss that whole year, and now that boat that you buy in November is basically a year older. So, it makes sense that they're discounting it because the value of it has truly gone down because of the time. But those are some of the things that impact price and impact the discount. So hopefully that was valuable for you. Remember, you can grab that toolkit, boatbuyerssecretweapon.com/toolkit.
Let's pull up the anchor and run this podcast back to the dock. We'll be back again with another helpful and fun episode next time. If you'd like to be a guest on the podcast, visit boatbuyerssecretweapon.com/guest. And I'll help offer insights into your boat research and shopping experience. Also, we'd appreciate it if you took just 2 minutes to rate and review this podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. It helps others find us so we can help more boaters.
By the way, if you want to ensure you find the perfect boat at the lowest possible price so you can buy with 100% confidence, visit boatbuyerssecretweapon.com/academy for a short video and all the details.
Now, before we go, I want to leave you with a few first-time boating tips for when you own your new boat. Number 1, know your local boating laws, basic navigation rules, and how to operate your boat safely. It'll make boating even more fun for everyone. 2, be aware of your wake at all times and pay attention to no wake zones because you are responsible for your wake. When maneuvering at slow speeds, you can put out an enormous wake. If going slow, be courteous, save some fuel, and drop down to idle speed, just in forward gear to ensure there is no wake. This could save you an expensive ticket and will keep you from being that guy on your waterway. Number 3, boats do not have headlights. They have docking lights, specifically made for seeing in tight quarters and docking. Do not turn your docking lights on while cruising down the water. It can blind other boaters and is very dangerous and, again, could save you an expensive ticket. Number 4, follow the maintenance schedule for your boat. Change the oil, impeller, gear lube, winterize if you need to winterize in your area. Inspect your trailer tires, bearings, and grease the hubs if you're a trailer boater to ensure you don't experience expensive and unnecessary repairs that will impact your boating time. Number 5, always double check your plug is in, your battery is charged, and the fuel is full before heading out for a day on the water. It could just save your boating day. And if you're a trailer boater, I've got a few extra tips. Number 1, at the boat ramp, prepare your boat, your gear, and your guests in the staging area. Then, when you're ready, back down the ramp, unload the boat, head to the parking lot, and right back down to your boat to be fast and courteous to your fellow boaters and don't tie up that ramp unnecessarily. Next, use transom tie-down straps when trailing your boat. Very bad things can happen if you don't, and they do happen. 3, check everything in the boat is secure before heading down the road. Seat cushions, gear, keys, towels, even tubes and lily pads can get blown out when pulling your boat down the highway or interstate. And most important, have fun. Enjoy your boat and get on the water as much as possible because life truly is better on a boat. Until next time, this is your friend in boating, Captain Matt.